The story revolves around a teacher living in a border town in Mexico, a place filled with deprivation, violence, and corruption. He adopts a new method to spark curiosity in his students. Hi, Studio Recapped here. Today, we're going to talk about a movie called Radical, released in 2023 in the drama genre. Spoiler alert is on. Take care. At the start of the new academic year, the principal of the school, Jose Hermanlopes, raises the issue of student attrition and the low average grades of the children in the education system during a meeting with the school's teachers. The principal talked about a new science teacher named Sergio Juarez with the teachers. Then, he requested that they try to raise the average grades of their classes in the new year and considered an incentive reward for any teacher who has the highest average grades. On the first day of teaching, Sergio surprises the children with his different teaching method. Sitting among the disarrayed desks of the class, he tries to engage the students in thinking about the topic of capacity and volume through questions and answers. None of the students speak, and the entire day passes with discussions about the buoyancy of boats and Sergio's unanswered questions. Additionally, Sergio's peculiar movements are amusing to the children. Even the principal is surprised and somewhat annoyed upon witnessing the classroom chaos and the unprecedented commotion of the children during his class visit. Sergio insists on the students' participation in class and asks them to think about the questions, whether right or wrong, and express whatever comes to their mind. By taking them to the library, he activates the inquisitive minds of the children and somewhat succeeds in connecting with the students. Sergio promises the students who are worried about their academic grades that they will receive full marks. He simply wants them to try to think without adhering to the usual way of thinking. Of course, the principal disagrees with this approach and asks Sergio to follow the general curriculum, but Sergio requests a little time from the principal to transform the children. One of the students is Nico. Nico, who his classmates call a vagabond, is disinterested in studies and is very naughty and mischievous. Nico, along with his brother, works for a criminal. Nico is the laziest student in the class. Moreover, he is interested in Paloma but has not been successful in establishing a connection with her. Another student is Paloma. Paloma lives only with her father. Their home is a ruin full of trash, and this very fact causes her to be greatly humiliated by her classmates. Paloma is always quiet and speaks little at school. She has an interest in aerospace and has hidden many books, articles, and magazines in a secret spot above her bed, but her father opposes this. He believes that his daughter's education is useless and that in the end, they are. The next student is Lupe. She goes to school with her younger sister and brother and has the responsibility of looking after them at home and school, like a mother. She is also in charge of the household chores. One day, upon seeing her mother's pregnancy test, she realizes that another baby is on the way, and her responsibilities are about to increase significantly. Sergio insisted on introducing the children to the internet and its benefits. He continued to tell the students that if they did not want to learn, he would not insist, but gradually the students' activities increased. Sergio did not argue with Nico, who threw a pencil at him, but instead fostered a sense of camaraderie, telling him that he was very smart and gradually making him interested in the lesson. In response to Lupe, he said that her words were like those of great philosophers, which made Lupe more interested in philosophy to the extent that she went to get and read university philosophy books. Sergio leaves the class for half an hour after posing a puzzling question about density. When he returns, he sees Paloma's notebook and realizes that she writes the correct answers to all the questions but never raises them in class. Sergio encourages Paloma to explain to her classmates, and gradually, Paloma's confidence grows. From then on, Paloma speaks more in class and helps her classmates. The rest of the children also start learning and reaching conclusions together as a group. One day, to better understand density, they all gather around a well, and during the group discussion, even the principal is compelled to cooperate with them. Initially, the principal objects, but at Sergio's insistence, he joins the group. That day, all the children experience the best collaborative teaching. They find the answer to the educational puzzle, and everyone understands the answer well. When Nico goes home, he tries to fix a boat that has been broken for a long time, using what he has learned about the buoyancy of boats, in order to attract Paloma's attention. Sergio, aware of Nico's interest, gives him a magazine with aerospace content to give to Paloma. Provoked by a teacher who opposed Sergio's methods, the principal goes to Sergio's house to understand the reasons behind his actions. Sergio convinces him with an internet video about the proper way of studying and helping to uncover the children's hidden talents. He says he believes in his method and it proves successful because, from then on, the children understand the concepts of the lessons with each other's help and have good participation. Sergio realizes that Nico has dangerous and illegal items in his backpack but is not sure of the exact contents. However, at Nico's request, he does not open the bag to avoid having to expel him. Nico tells him that if it's discovered that Sergio opened his bag and saw its contents, they would kill him. Sergio asks Nico to choose his path, and if his choice is education, to stay away from illegal activities. After school, Nico asks Paloma to accompany him home, and when they arrive, they are entertained by a telescope that Paloma had built herself. From then on, they sometimes watch the sky together. Lupe also tells her mother that she wants to study philosophy, but her mother tells her that she must take care of her brother after he is born and until it's time for him to go to school, she cannot pursue her studies. Paloma's father visits Sergio and asks him not to fill his daughter's head with high aspirations and to stop brainwashing her. He accuses Sergio of deceiving the children with unrealistic promises. When an inspector arrives and finds that Sergio has not followed the educational program and has been discussing other matters in class, Sergio is suspended for 2 weeks. When Nico is unable to answer the inspector's question, the inspector humiliates him, calling him lazy and useless, and expels him from the class. Paloma goes to Nico and tells him that he is truly intelligent. At that moment, the people Nico works for arrive and tell him he must work for them as before. They intend to assault Paloma, but Nico grabs their gun, and they get into a fight. Sergio, hearing the gunshot, finds them, and upon arrival, he is confronted with Nico's corpse. Overwhelmed by guilt, he decides to give up teaching. The principal follows Sergio and asks him to return to the school, but Sergio refuses. However, when he realizes that Paloma is no longer attending classes, he agrees to go to her house to talk. Paloma refuses to return to school, accepting that her reality is to live in poverty among trash. When Paloma's father returns the telescope to Sergio, saying his daughter no longer needs it, he realizes that Paloma had made it herself and finally understands the depth of his daughter's interest in her studies. When Sergio goes to Nico's place by the beach, he sees a boat with the words for Paloma written on its back. Pushing it into the water, he sees that Nico had repaired it correctly. On the day of the exam, Lupe, who had to take care of the baby, is unable to participate. Paloma enters the school at the last moment. Sergio asks the students to focus and try their best, telling them that he has learned a lot from them. That year, the students achieved the best progress and grades, and Paloma received the highest score in the entire country.